Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? The stove is getting hotter and hotter as we speak. Max Scherzer is going to the Rangers. It is official. No one knew exactly what was happening, but it is now official. Max Scherzer heading to the Texas Rangers. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk Justin Verlander. Could he be next? We're going to talk some other rumors. Let's get to it. Baseball fans, how you doing? We got 300 people in the chat. How you doing, everyone? How you doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. A lot of familiar faces. We got members. We got moderators. How's everyone doing? It's Saturday. I never go live on a Saturday. This is weird. This is usually like my night off, I guess is what you can call it. Well, I got the whole summer off. I'm a teacher. And but, you know, still I'm doing the channel during the summer, and this is usually a night off for me, and here we are. I kind of like the Saturday night streams. It's kind of, I don't know. I usually go live Sundays and Saturdays. It's just a nice change of pace. I'll still be live tomorrow night, though. It is the trade deadline, but we will still be doing our power rankings. Tomorrow will be a trade deadline power rankings special, so make sure you're here for that tomorrow night. We got a super chat coming in. Wish my Cardinals front office wasn't so incompetent. They refused to spend money and made trades to improve the team. This is really sad and frustrating. Hey, we still got a couple more days here. It's not over till it's over. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And I think the Cardinals, they're going to make some moves here in the next couple of days. It's worth it for the Cardinals to wait it out a little bit. You know, try and build up as much leverage as they can. Teams waiting them out, trying to wait and see if a team gets desperate, see if they can overpay a little bit more. But I do think the Cardinals, they are going to have to pull the trigger soon. You can't wait too long, because if you wait too long, then, you know, then you kind of lose your leverage. So I think the Cardinals, they're going to strike on a Jordan Montgomery deal, maybe even Jordan Hicks. You still got Paul DeJong there. Could they maybe even make a blockbuster with Nolan Arenado possibly? I know a lot of people are not convinced that's going to happen. Could they change their mind on a Paul Goldschmidt? You know, we'll have to see what happens with the Cardinals. I think they're going to do something. So I would be patient, Connor Gray. I would be patient. But we have other news to take care of tonight. We got the Mets. They're officially done. They're waving the white flag. It is over for people, for the people in Queens that support their Mets until they die. And hey, it's another LOL Mets season. I mean, I hate this. You know why I hate this? You know why? Well, first off, because I picked the Mets to make the World Series this year. So yeah, that is a pretty bad take on my end. I thought they were going to be good this year. I really did. I'm thinking, all right, they're going all out. They're spending the money. But silly me, you know, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. But here we are. Disappointing season for the Mets. And, hey, it's pretty crazy. And, you know, kind of catching up on the news here, you know, let's go back here. I thought Scherzer was more likely to be dealt than Verlander. Verlander could definitely still be dealt. That is absolutely a possibility. But to me, I'm thinking, all right, Verlander just got there. He just signed there. Like, I don't know, like, and Verlander's having a good year. So, and you will have him for next year too. To me, the more likely guy to trade was Scherzer because, well, he had simply just been there longer than Verlander. I don't know. It just feels weird to sign a guy and then just trade him, especially to the big contract that you signed him to. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's just like how I felt about it. But not surprised to see a team take a flyer on Max Scherzer. He is having a pretty disappointing season. he's had the ups and downs this year. He had the whole thing with the sticky stuff. Performance hasn't been that great. My Red Sox knocked him around this year. And here we are going to the Texas Rangers. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really a big fan of it for the Rangers. I'm really not. Maybe it ends up being a great move for them. Maybe it really pays off for them. They did have to. This is really funny now because you just had DeGrom and Scherzer on the same team not too long ago. And I know DeGrom is out for the rest of the year, but now Max Scherzer and DeGrom are back together. Even though DeGrom's not playing, they're still back together on the same team. So I find that kind of funny. But for the Rangers, my quick reaction to it, I'm not a fan of it for the Rangers. I like it a lot more for the Mets. I really do. I mean, that's just my opinion. It could end up being a good thing for the Rangers, but we're going to break it down. Before I dive into it, everyone, we got almost 500 people in the chat. If you can, I know it's the annoying thing that us YouTubers like to say. If you can, just hit the like button for me. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. That's all I ever ask. But also, we are sponsored today by Underdog Fantasy. Everyone, listen, I'm just telling you. I know it's a sponsor and everything. I know. But hear me out. I just won $50 last night on Underdog Fantasy. I'm not kidding. Won $50. I did a daily draft. I entered a $10 daily draft, and I won myself $50. I'm just saying, go try out Underdog Fantasy. If you use my code HYDE, you will double your first deposit. So if you deposit $10, they'll give you $20. I'm telling you, go give it a chance. Go see if you can win yourself some cash. And also, make sure you play responsibly. And also, we are sponsored today by BetOnline, one of the best sources out there for all of your sports betting needs, whether it's Major League Baseball, UFC, NFL is right around the corner. Go check out BetOnline. Go see if you can win yourself a few bucks. Make sure you use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV. And also, go check out SeatGeek. Use my code HYDE for $20 off on your first purchase. Okay, let's get to it. So, we got a little Max Scherzer to talk about. We got a little Texas Rangers to talk about. We got some Mets to talk about here. So, I'm going to start this off here. I'm going to start this off with a tweet I put out earlier. So, sharing the screen. So, I put this out. What time did I put this out? About 7 o'clock tonight. And I said, if the Mets land Acuna and Porter, I thought Porter was going to be in this deal because he had been removed from his start. That makes me think that Porter was in these talks. I do think Porter was in these talks, and they ended up just not including him in the deal. We'll get to the deal here in just a second, but I said, if the Mets land Acuna and Porter, I can't even imagine how much money they send back to the Rangers. Scherzer is owed almost $60 million if he doesn't opt out. So this was the deal that I just put on the screen. Mike, thank you so much for becoming a member, my friend. Appreciate that. So for the Rangers, Scherzer is an underwater contract right now because he's owed a lot of money. He's not getting any younger. He's had some injury problems, and he's not having a great year. ERA, 4.01. The FIP at a 4.73. XFIP is a little lower at 4.09, but he's giving up a lot more home runs this year. It's, the velocity is down just a smidge this year. So that's why Max Scherzer is an underwater contract right now, if you are wondering. So I'm using baseballtradevalues.com, by the way, the number one source for all of your trading needs. So for the Mets, you get Acuna, right? You're not going to get Porter here, but this is what I suggested. And I'm thinking, man, they're probably going to have to send back a lot of cash if they at least want Acuna. I saw all the tweets coming out. Andy Martino had said that Acuna was going to be in the deal. And then here was the final deal. Taking a look here. So just catching up here. So Baseball Trade Values, they tweeted it earlier. So Max Scherzer heading to the Rangers and around $36.5 million. I was close. I thought it was going to be 40. I figured, all right, they'll pay 40 of the almost 60 million bucks left. And then for the Mets, you get Luis Angel Acuna. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But look at here, everyone. Look here right in front of your face. An even trade. For all the baseball trade value haters out there, it is dead even. This is the trade. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. What else is there to say? Debt is right down the middle. My goodness. Okay, so taking a look back at the trade, completely even, right down the middle. Did they use baseballtradevalues.com? I don't know. But for all the BTV haters out there, bam. I don't know what else to tell you. So it's never going to be a perfect website. I say that every single time I use the site, but people just love to bash on this thing. And it's like, goodness gracious. I don't know, man. I don't know what else there to say. 94% acceptance rate on over 500 real-life trades. Here you go. Another real-life trade with cash involved, with a top prospect involved, with one of the greatest pictures of all time. I don't know what else you got to do to convince people out there. It's never going to be perfect by any means. Anyway, but back to just the trade itself. I love it for the Mets. I really do. Because Acuna, it's not Ronald Acuna. It's the little brother. This guy has a lot of potential, man. Taking a look at the grades overall. The hit tool, it is a little lower because he is a very aggressive hitter. He makes really good contact every time he makes contact, but he tends to chase. He's very aggressive. But when he makes contact, man, he's got himself some power there. He's got a 55 power tool, but he's also athletic. So you got a lot of Ronald Acuna here. You got the power. You got the speed. He's going to be fine in the field. Maybe the arm isn't so great. So does he end up maybe moving to second base down the road? Could he end up being one of these like power hitting second basemen? You know, kind of reminds me of like a Nolan Gorman almost in a way. Could he end up being that kind of a player? I definitely think so. Either way, I think the Mets really needed a prospect like this. This is a good prospect. And actually, let me just make sure. I believe he was in the top 100. I could be wrong, at least on Baseball America. I tend to use Baseball America just in case anyone is wondering. But let me just make sure. So, yes, Acuna, taking a look here. He is number 87 overall on the top 100. So, I think this is a great get for them. I know, the Mets, you had to pay for it. You absolutely had to pay for it. But that's the advantage of having a Steve Cohen. When you got that money there, you can make things happen. It pretty much, hey, you got a good season out of Scherzer. Let's not forget that. Scherzer had himself a pretty good first season with the Mets. Ended up not working out. They were a good team, and they faded right at the end of the season. And then, losing in the wild card round to the Padres. A lot of expectations for the Mets this year, and it just didn't work out. It just simply didn't work out. I don't think the chemistry was there this year. I think there's just little things going on in that organization that we're not aware of. These guys are they're not playing their best. They're not feeling their best. I don't know what it is exactly. But when you got this much talent on the team and you're not winning, I think the same thing with the Padres. The Padres are the same thing to me. You're hearing reports that, players are not getting along in the clubhouse. They're having meetings after meeting after meeting, and they're pointing fingers and they're arguing. And I think something similar is going on with the Mets. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe putting all this money together in one clubhouse maybe doesn't tend to be the best recipe for success. I don't know. Is that just me? I'm not sure. But either way, for the Mets, I think it is great for them that they got a good prospect like this. So taking a look here at where the Mets, or what the Mets have in their top 30 on Baseball America. So as of right now, Baseball America, you got Ronnie Mauricio as your number 1. You got Parada at your number 2. Jet Williams at 3. Vassell at 4. You got Ramirez at 5. And so I would imagine Acuna is going to go right here in the top 5. I'm not sure where they're going to place him exactly. But this is a great get for the Mets. When you're punting on the season, when you have realized, okay, it is not working now. We're done. It's over. We got to move on here. It'd be hilarious if they traded Max Scherzer and they just went on a run after this. Could you imagine? I would die laughing. I would be in tears laughing that hard if the Mets were able to go on some kind of a run after this. I don't know. I think that would be pretty funny. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. But I do like this overall. It's not just that you're adding like a top 15, top 10 prospect. You're adding like a top 5 prospect for your system here, or a prospect that's going to go into your top 5. I really like that a lot for the Mets. Now, for the Rangers, let's talk some Rangers here. So, here we go. I got the Rangers pulled up. So, let's refresh this. Fangraphs is usually pretty quick about updating their rosters. So, Scherzer, here you go. Scherzer now, if you make the playoffs here, if you're the Rangers, I know the Astros are coming on strong. I'm still thinking the Rangers are going to make the playoffs this year. I think it would take a huge tumble for them to not make the playoffs, even if it's as a wild card. I would imagine the Rangers are going to make it this year. I know the Astros are just a couple of games back, but if you make the playoffs, you got Eovaldi and Scherzer as a 1-2 punch. I think that's pretty decent overall. Hey, these guys have playoff experience. I know Scherzer, he tends to be burned out by this time usually. His arm is usually falling off by this point. We'll have to see how he does. But for the Rangers overall, it was pretty interesting when you're following this, because there was a bit of a holdup when they announced the trade. He hadn't waived his no trade clause, and I was wondering what is happening here? Why is this trade not going through? I was starting to think of all these different things. Did he not want to go to the Rangers? Did he simply just not want to leave the Mets? Or, a combo of both. But when I started thinking about it, I'm like, all right, it has to probably be with the contract, with the opt-out. And I'm thinking, because it's not just that he has an opt-out. He has an opt-out whether or not he wants to take $43 million next year. That's it's a massive chunk of change. And so I was guessing that had something to do with it. I was actually thinking this deal was going to fall apart. I was thinking once there was a bit of a holdup, usually when you tend to get these holdups, there are times where they do get worked out, but then there's also other times where they don't. And I was wondering, like, what is happening here? And then it did eventually come out that he did say, like, okay, yeah, like, I'll waive the no trade clause. I think what the report was saying, let me actually pull up the tweet here, because, I'll read it for you specifically. But basically what was going on was the Rangers wanted him to not opt out for next year. They wanted to know that he was going to be around for next year. And Scherzer basically said no on that. Basically, he just said, like, no, I'm not waiving it. But taking a look, I'm trying to find the tweet itself. I believe Mark Feinsand said it. There's always so many of these guys tweeting. So hold on one second. Well, I'm seeing here from Joel Sherman and Mark Feinsand that it was simply just about the opt-out. So I'll just go to Feinsand. So he tweeted earlier at 8:45, not even 30 minutes ago. He says Max Scherzer retains his ability to opt out of his contract at the end of this season. So again, the Rangers wanted him to stick around for next year. So I'm wondering if there were some other parts of the deal once they found out that he was going to forego the opt-out and stay with the Rangers. Or once they figured out that he was not going to do that, I think they figured, all right, we got to rework this deal now. Maybe there were other players involved. Maybe, could it have been the amount of cash or something like that. So either way, what that makes me think is, because you're probably thinking, why wouldn't Scherzer just want to opt in for the $43 million? It's $43 million. That makes me wonder. Scherzer was probably like, all right, I'm okay with going to the Rangers this year. I'm okay with pitching for them for the next couple of months. Nothing wrong with playing some competitive baseball for the next couple of months. But it makes me think that he is not certain about staying with the Rangers for next year. I think he probably realistically, if you're thinking like a human being, you're probably wanting to feel it out first. You probably want to go to the Rangers, see how things run, see how things go. He probably wants to get a feel for the organization. You know, I mean, he doesn't want to commit to something before figuring out what's going on here, right? He wants to see how the organization is set up. What are the coaches going to be like? I think he just wants to see if he's going to be comfortable or not. I definitely think there's a great chance he opts back into the contract. It's $43 million. He is not going to get $43 million next year. Like, he's simply not. But I also think too, you know, he wants to keep his cards close to his vest because that was an opt-out that he was rewarded. So he's thinking, why should I have to just give that up? That was something that I negotiated with my contract, so I want to keep it. And I think that's completely fair for Scherzer to keep that. So, and hey, like I said, he just wants to make sure that he feels comfortable being with the Texas Rangers. And I'm sure he will opt back in if he enjoys the experience. Because, again, it's $43 million. If he opts out of the contract, goes back out into the open market, there's no way he's getting $43 million for a salary. That is basically not happening at this point. I'd be surprised if he even got 25. You know, with the way he's pitching this year, I mean, could he even get 25? I don't know about that. So, $43 million, that's a big chunk of change. So, this is a big deal that he does retain the opt-out. So, it will be interesting. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Jeff Passan. Jeff Passan just told us something. Jeff Passan, what do you got? Max Scherzer exercised his player option. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. Well, that answers exactly what we were just talking about. So I wonder what that was all about. I don't know. Okay, we got breaking news here, everyone. Breaking news. Max Scherzer exercising his player option for the 2024 season. He will be a Texas Ranger next year. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's $43 million. I mean, it can't be that bad going to the Rangers. I mean, like, come on. I mean, they're winning baseball here. Why would he not? It's $43 million. The fact that there was even like a conversation, like, that's just like, it's $43 million and you're pitching the way you're pitching. Max, sorry, but like, come on, dude. You don't got leverage here, man. You got a 4.01 ERA. You got a 4.73 FIP. So the fact that you're like, why would you not even just exercise it? Like, that's wild to me that this is only just coming out now. I don't know, man. I don't know. But here we go. So breaking news, everyone. If you are just joining us, we're over 600 people. Max Scherzer exercising his player option for the 2024 season will be a Texas Ranger. So all of a sudden, you got Max Scherzer with the Mets, and now you got him with the Rangers for this year and next year. So I was starting to wonder, man, are we going to get another, free agency tour here with Max Scherzer in the offseason? So, and that's another good point, James. James in the chat. No state tax. That's like wild to me that Scherzer would even think. Listen, for the people out there that are saying, oh, he wants to win. He's already won. He won a World Series. I'm sorry. If I got $43 million on the table and there's no state tax, I'm taking that every single day of the week. I don't care if I go play for the Portland Pickles. It's $43 million. Don't come at me with it's for the love of the game. What? Sorry, I think I love $43 million. That sounds pretty good if you ask me. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah, of course, I would like to win too, but if I've already won a World Series and then my arm's about to fall off and I've been pitching for almost 20 years, at this point, I'm sorry. I'm taking the $43 million. It's not every day that someone gets $43 million in 1 year. I mean, it's one of the... Come on. Anyway, but here we go. Scherzer now. So, does this increase the Rangers' chances of winning a World Series? Listen, if the Rangers can get Scherzer back on track, if they can get something figured out, because he's been really inconsistent. So let's actually go to his game log here. Taking a look at his last few starts. He did pitch pretty well last time out against the Nationals, which was yesterday. He went 7 innings. He gave up a homer, but he struck out 7. Against my Red Sox in his start prior, yeah, he did have a bit of a clunker there. But then the start before that against the Dodgers, he went 7 innings, 1 hit allowed. No runs. Padres, he got roughed up. Diamondbacks, he got roughed up. Then he had a couple of decent starts there against the Brewers, the Phillies, the Astros. So he's had like a few rough starts here, but then he's had some really good starts in between. So he's just been really inconsistent, and then you're getting these numbers right here. But if you get Scherzer to pitch one of these good games in the playoffs, that's not bad if you ask me. Are you going to be able? Are you going to be able to count on Scherzer being able to give you that good start? I don't know. He's pitched pretty well against some of these good teams. He pitched well against the Dodgers. He pitched well against the Astros. I'm just saying, this move could end up being really good for the Rangers. Brady Polk, how you doing? Verlander to the Cubs. Listen, the Cubs, man. The Cubs are playing pretty decent baseball right now. Listen, I've been saying about the Cubs for a while now. If you've been with me on the power rankings every Sunday night, I have been saying about the Cubs that they're a good team. I mean, all you have to do is look at the run differential. That's the most basic thing that you can look at. If you don't want to look at just record, look at run differential. That's why a team like the Padres are so frustrating, because they have a plus 57 run differential and they're 50 and 54. So that tells me they're not coming up in clutch situations. They're losing close games. And that's kind of the same thing similarly with the Cubs. You know, the Cubs, the one thing that worries me against those good teams, they're not very good. 25 and 39, right? But when you look at the Padres, for instance, they're 36 and 37. So the Padres do well against those good teams. But the Cubs, they're in this kind of like a weaker division here. Cardinals are not good this year. Pirates have completely fallen off. Yeah, the Reds and the Brewers. Remember, the Reds and the Brewers early on, they weren't like amazing, but they're playing well lately. But listen, if you're the Cubs here and you just got a new streaming deal, I can't remember exactly when that kicks in. I think it's in August it kicks in. If I'm the Cubs, as from an organization point of view, from a business point of view, and if I got a new streaming deal or a new TV deal or whatever it is, I want to put a good team on the field. That's just me thinking business, thinking dollars, right? So the Cubs, I think you got to hang on, at least hang on to Stroman. I think if you traded Bellinger, that's a pretty good bat to give up. The only way I would give up Bellinger at this point is if you're able to get pieces in return that can help your team now. That's the only way I would trade Bellinger right now, is if you're able to get at least like a decent bat in return, maybe some bullpen help or something like that, maybe another pitcher. I could see that. But he's a really good bat for them. And I think, honestly, if you're the Cubs, why not try and work out an extension with Cody Bellinger? You know, we all love to sit here and, you know, talk about trades, but, I mean, we need to start thinking, too, why not try and extend the guy? Well, you know why we think that? Because, you know, that's the boring answer, right? You know, no, we want to see the trades. We want to get the adrenaline flowing. We want to see the big trades. You know, we don't want to see the boring extensions. That's boring. So, but if I'm the Cubs, I approach Bellinger with an extension because he has been playing really well. Why not? So that's something to consider. Oh, oh, what a name. Hepatitis. See you later. Bellinger for Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar. I love it. I love it. Absolutely amazing deal. But we actually just got some tweets here from... What is going on? We just got... What is this? Someone just tagged me in this. Mike, thank you. John Mozeliak, they are not trading Arenado. Okay. Not surprised about that. Not surprised. Alrighty, so here we go. We just had some details. I believe here. Okay, here's Passan. So here are the full details. If you are just joining us, I'm going over the deets. Okay, so the Rangers get Scherzer. Luis Angel Acuna going to the Mets. Okay, so just one more time. The Rangers are going to be paying $22.5 million of the remaining contract, which means the Mets are covering over $35 million left on the contract. And you know I'm going to go back to it. The report is that the Mets are paying $36.5 million. This isn't me putting together this trade, everyone. This is the reported trade. Right down the middle. So one more time. This is for the baseball trade value haters out there. Here you go. That's all. I'm not going to say anymore. But back to the Rangers. This could end up being a really good deal for you. The one problem with Scherzer is he tends to have stuff going on health-wise all the time, whether if it's the neck, the back, the arm. You don't know what it is with Scherzer. And is he going to be okay come playoff time? The man is 39 years old. Listen, I'm not going to get on to someone about their age, but we have seen time and time again, these guys, when they get to this age, they start to break down, you know? Hey, even the greats, you know? Well, Randy Johnson was still really good close to his age 40 season, or around his age 40 season. You know, Scherzer, he can give you a dynamite start. He absolutely can. Will he be able to bottle that for the playoffs? If he can, this Rangers team is dangerous. It's just a big if. You don't know. You don't know. So, I do like the rotation now. Like, losing DeGrom hurt, but now at least you have a veteran guy there, you know, and you got a 1-2 punch in Eovaldi and Scherzer, and then you got some guys behind, like Gray. Dunning has been pretty solid this year. Not great lately. Heaney's there. You know, you got Perez in here. So it makes me wonder, I would imagine someone's going to be going to the bullpen. Who goes to the bullpen? I mean, when you're looking at Martin Perez and you look at the numbers, I would think maybe Perez is going to go into that long relief role. You know, that's just me. I'm thinking that. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with their rotation. So let's take a look at the Mets. Okay, now we got much more to talk about here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when it comes to the Mets, all right, listen, I know losing Scherzer, well, actually, I think a lot of Mets fans are pretty happy with Scherzer being traded from when gauging the reactions on Twitter. It seems like most Mets fans are okay with this, and hey, I don't blame you. Scherzer has not been very good this year. Again, he's had good starts here and there, but he's also had clunkers as well. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, could this somehow, some way, like, psychology is a weird thing. Could this somehow spark this Mets team? Like, if this was it, if they were sticking with this roster, which I don't think they will, I do think Verlander, you would think Verlander is going to be next. If you're trading Scherzer, I would think you got to trade Verlander, but it's not guaranteed because you do have Verlander for next year and you just signed him. Let's say they hang on to this team. Let's say, and I'm saying this, I'm pleading my case as Brandon Lux in the chat says the Mets are down 7-1 in the third inning. Okay, well, just hear me out. Let's say the Mets end up keeping their team. I know everyone's going to disagree with me here. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Could you imagine that this somehow reverse psychology sort of kicks in and this Mets team just goes crazy? I don't know. Like, I think that would be hilarious if that actually happened. That's probably not going to happen. Most likely, I would think Verlander is going to be moved. It's not 100%. And again, a lot of people didn't think Scherzer was going to be able to be moved because he wasn't really having a great year. To me, out of Verlander and Scherzer, if Verlander ends up staying and Scherzer is the one that goes, I'm not surprised about that. Again, for a simple reason. If I just sign somewhere, I know it's a business, I know that. But for me personally, if I just sign somewhere, I kind of don't want to get traded like, 6 months later? You know, I'm just saying. I know you'd like to go to a competitor, I'm just saying. But I would think the Mets would at least want to hang on to him for next year. I don't know. But I also definitely see the argument for trading him as well, of course. And there are teams out there that can use some starting pitching. The Astros have been connected with him. Remember, the Rangers were connected with Verlander too. Makes me wonder if they were talking Verlander. Maybe the asking price for Verlander was going to be Acuna and maybe like a couple more prospects just because Verlander is having the better year. So they just settled on Scherzer. But with Verlander, it is going to be a similar situation to Scherzer because when you take a look at Verlander and the value, and don't even come at me in the comments saying, oh, those values are off. Those values, they don't make any sense. This website's trash. I'm sorry, but it was completely even right down the middle. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done listening to it. But Verlander, as you can see, the value is in the negatives, but it is lesser than Scherzer. Of course it is, because he's having a better year. So you're going to see, I believe, a very similar situation with Verlander than that we saw with Scherzer. So let's actually clear this out. There are definitely some teams that could use some pitching. Remember, the Giants were connected with Verlander. And again, I'm not surprised about that because the Giants, they're an organization, they don't want to give up prospects, or at least top prospects, right? But they are okay with taking on money. And with Verlander, obviously, he's making a lot of money. But then now what's going to happen here where teams look at what just happened with Scherzer? You just had to give up your number 2 prospect here, right? Let me go back here real quick. So pulling up the Rangers. So you just had to give up your number 2 prospect in Acuna, right? So what does this say to other teams? Other teams are probably out here thinking, oh man, we got to give up, they're going to give us all this cash, but maybe we don't want to give up our number 2 prospect or our number 3 prospect. All right. But that could be what you're looking at. All right. So let's take a look. I'll pull up the Giants just for an example. I'm taking a look here. Because remember, the Giants have been connected with Verlander. That was in the news. So I'm going to use them. So let's do Verlander. So again, I mean, you're looking at very similar money because Verlander and Scherzer, they're making like very, very similar money, I believe. I think, yeah, they're making the same. They're making the same exact salary. So with Scherzer, they gave up $36.5 million for this year and next year. So with Verlander, you probably don't have to give up as much. So I'll put 30 though, because the difference with their values, 16.4 for Scherzer, Verlander's at 11, so that's right around a $5 million difference. So I'll just put 30 million going to the Giants. So now, well, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Hold on. Add the cash. Why is it not adding the cash? Oh, I'm putting negative. That's right. Okay, so if they were to pay $30 million of his contract, well, then you're looking at around $19 million worth of value. And this could get yourself a pretty decent prospect. So if you go to the Giants here, who's their number 2 prospect? Well, I don't think the number 2 prospect for the Giants is going anywhere because I believe, I'm trying to remember. It's not Kyle Harrison. Actually, is it Kyle Harrison as the number 2? I don't think they wouldn't give up Kyle Harrison here. Baseball America, if you're watching this, can you please speed up the website? I've been using this website for the past couple of weeks, actually. Is anyone else having a problem with Baseball America? It's like super slow. They updated the site. It looks so much better, but I've been having issues with the site. There we go. No, Luis Matos is the number 2. So there's no way they're giving up Kyle Harrison. Absolutely no way. So you just got a middle infield prospect in Acuna. So I don't think Luciano's going anywhere. I mean, there's no way they do Matos. Absolutely not. No way. Matos actually has way more value here. Yeah, he's almost at 40. So if you go down, I mean, it could be a little different with the Giants. Maybe you could do like a couple of prospects. Maybe you could do like Wisenhunt. And then like Brown, possibly. So Brown is at 7.8. Wisenhunt is at 8.9. So you could do a two for one, maybe. I don't know if Giants fans would like that. I don't know. But if we go back here, I mean, what is Luciano? I don't think you're giving up Luciano. I just don't see them doing that. But what even is his value right now? Where is he? Oh, that's interesting. Well, you know, because Luciano, I think he has been struggling in the minors over the last couple of years. I could be wrong. So I know he was called up. I mean, he's having a good year in the minors this year. Right? But yeah, that's what it was. So last year in high A ball, he didn't put up inspiring numbers. He only hit 263, 459 slugging in high A. But this year, actually in double A, his numbers were down. But they still called him up to triple A, and he actually was doing pretty well over a few games. And now he's with the Giants. So that is why they're suggesting that Luciano has a zero value. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to talk with John about this one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they have him at a zero value. I would think he would have a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe they're updating it. Who knows? Anyway, but you could see something like this if you're the Giants, right? Someone like Wisenhunt would be a decent pitching prospect to get back. You know, I'll be honest with you. So, another team that I've been thinking of, Blue Jays fans, are you here with me? Are you here with me? Hear me out here. Why couldn't the Blue Jays maybe get involved? Remember, they were connected with Verlander not too long ago. It looked like, I think Verlander even came out and said that he almost signed with the Blue Jays, right? So, you got Ryu back now. So, that's great news. So, Jim is here. Ballcap Sports is here. He says, no need for JV. I'm still going to plead my case. Listen, this is coming from a Red Sox fan here. So you have to listen to my case. You got to listen to my case. But the only reason I could even think is if Manoah, but I feel like Manoah is going to be fine when I really think about it. He did okay in his or actually, how did he do today? What did he do? Oh, man. Taylor Ward got hit in the face today? Man, Alek Manoah is just having a year, man. Terrible year. He's hitting people in the face. What is going on here? Good grief. I didn't even see this. Dang, man. Ugh. Alek Manoah, man. Alek Manoah. Well, hold on. Let me go back here. Let me go to the box score. I feel like his pitching line ended up being okay, though. Oh, my goodness. Why can't I scroll over? Whatever. Here we go. Oh, so he ended up pitching well. So he didn't go very deep. Yeah, 4 1/3, 6 Ks. So I feel like with Manoah at this point, even if he ends up being your number 5, I could see that being okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're getting Ryu back, you know, unless if, and then you could put Kikuchi in the bullpen. I don't know. I think Verlander would be pretty cool for them if they ended up maybe pulling the trigger on it. I didn't think they needed starting pitching to begin with because I knew Ryu was coming back. But to me, if you got Gausman and Verlander in the playoffs in a wild card round, I think that's really solid. And then you got Ryu for a game 3 possibly. You know, I think that would be really good. So, I don't know. That's just me. I'm thinking playoffs here for the Blue Jays. Anyway, if you were to think of some other teams, we got the Giants here. We got, you know, probably not the Blue Jays. I'd say probably like a 5% chance for the Blue Jays. Maybe not even that. So then why not go back to his old team? We're seeing all these players going back to their old teams. Why not have Verlander go back to the Astros? Hey, worked out. Obviously, winning a World Series last year, a couple of Cy Youngs as well. Why not just send him back to the Astros? Here's the thing. If the Mets are going to be paying down his contract, why wouldn't the Astros be interested in that? Absolutely. If you're only having, if we were to go here to Verlander. So, again, he's making the same salary as Scherzer this year. And then, if we were to go, so then he's guaranteed for that money next year. So, but then he has the mutual option. You usually don't see mutual options exercised. Not usually. Maybe in this case, it could be a little different. But obviously, he's making a lot of money this year, next year. So if the Mets were willing to pay down like $30 million of it, I could see the Astros doing that. I mean, why not? So let's actually work out a trade here, sending him back to the Astros. Now, the Astros, it could be a little different because they don't really have much of a farm. So if we go look at the Astros. So they already just gave up Corey Lee. But he had dropped, so he wasn't really like a top prospect for him. I mean, you got some guys here. I don't know. Could you just do like just Jacob Melton or maybe Drew Gilbert, possibly? Well, let's see. I'm not sure what their values are as of right now. Let's see. So, Gilbert. Well, Gilbert is 13.1. So maybe you could do that. But then again, I don't know. Do you want to be giving up top prospects if you're the Astros? I think, man, you got to start putting together some talent down on that farm. So, here we go. Let's send back 30. So, you could do Gilbert and maybe one more guy. So if you're looking here, maybe Barber hasn't really worked out with the Astros in their farm. He was a high pick not too long ago, but maybe a change of scenery could be good for him. So maybe something like this, a couple of outfielders. I don't know. Let me know. What do you all think? Would you like to see Verlander go back to the Astros? In my opinion, I would like the idea, but I wouldn't want to give up Gilbert. That's just my opinion on this matter. So if I were to actually go here to the Astros, let me pull up Drew Gilbert's numbers. I believe he is having a pretty decent year. So when it comes to his grades, he's got a good hit tool. He's got good power. He has definitely some raw power, but he's an athlete as well. He's got a 60 speed. Actually, no. Gilbert is not really having a great year. He was doing well in high A, but double A, he's still, he's making that jump, high A to double A. That's definitely a big jump in talent. So looks like he's still trying to figure it out there. He has played 58 games in double A. So, I don't know. Either way, I do like that raw power and I like the speed. If you were to look at some other prospects, let's look at what's Melton at. Again, this is not a deep farm. If you were to do Melton, like right now. So Melton, I'm not sure if Fangraphs has updated this because Baseball America has updated theirs recently, and they have Jacob Melton at number 2. You got Ryan Clifford. Let's see what Clifford's at. I don't know. Could you make I got 4 outfielders on the board here. So let's take out Gilbert. Let's take out Barber. I don't know. Maybe something like this. A couple outfield prospects. So I don't really know here, but to me, the Astros would be a really good fit. I mean, obviously we know what Verlander can do with the Astros. If I'm looking at some other teams, it's funny. It's funny. I had someone on Twitter actually say, let's have Verlander go to the Red Sox. It's not happening. That will definitely not happen. But I could see, then again, probably not though, because Bloom does not want to give up prospects. But I could see Bloom being intrigued with, this is where it could also be interesting, right? Now that I'm thinking about it, remember with Bloom, okay? Again, I'm just kind of I'm spitballing here. I don't know if I'm really wrapping my head fully around this idea. However, we have seen Bloom receive prospects to make up for taking on a contract. We have seen that. So, let's take a look. If you were to put Verlander on the Red Sox, this is just weird to me. I don't see it happening. But we're just coming up with ideas here. Let's say the Mets, they could say, hey, the Red Sox will, hey, we'll take on the contracts. Send over some prospects. I don't know if this is really going to be enough, though. I don't see it. If I'm looking, I don't know, like maybe take on like a Vassal or something. Maybe. I don't know. I could see Bloom maybe thinking about it like, hey, he's sitting at the board table with everyone, right? All the people in the Red Sox front office. They're throwing ideas on the wall, seeing if anything sticks. Someone says, hey, maybe Verlander? Maybe we can get a couple of prospects with him. We'll just take the contract. I could see Bloom maybe like kind of stroking the chin a little bit. I don't know if it comes to fruition at all, but that's where I could see the Red Sox maybe being a possibility. They do need starting pitching, and you would have Verlander for next year. That would come down to ownership for me. If they would be willing to take on that much money. I don't know if they would do that. The Mets could definitely pay off some of it, and maybe the Red Sox give up a prospect, maybe give up a top 10 prospect. I could see that, possibly. Now, there is another team. Now that I'm starting to wrap my head around what teams. Of course, you got the Dodgers. You just traded for Lance Lynn. Hey, they got prospects for days. They could use some more listen, Lance Lynn doesn't put you over the top here. Verlander's been connected with the Dodgers in the past. I'm just saying. Why not? Why couldn't you do the Dodgers? So let's put together a trade with the Dodgers. So we still got around 600 people in this chat. Everyone, I want to thank you for stopping by tonight on your Saturday evening. If you can, everyone, what are we at with the likes right now? Let's see if we can get to 200 likes. If we can get to 200 likes, I'll be a happy boy. Don't forget, everyone, we are sponsored here tonight by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use my code HYDE. You get a double on your first deposit. Everyone, I'm just saying, I won $50 last night on a daily draft. I'm just saying, you can win yourself some big bucks. Go check it out. Make sure you play responsibly, though. Make sure you play responsibly. Here we go. Also, the link is in the description down below. So, again, use the code HYDE. You get a double deposit. Here we go. Back to the trades. Alrighty. So, let's do the Dodgers. And you know the Dodgers, they could send back one prospect and done. You know they got that. So, let's look. Here we go. Honestly, the idea of Verlander with the Dodgers, to me, it sounds pretty fun. Sounds pretty fun. So, taking a look. Verlander, let's say they pay 30 just like they did with Scherzer. All right, so the Dodgers, I mean, who do they got? They got everyone in their system. One thing I wish that Baseball America did, I wish you can just quickly go to team. All righty, here we go. Where are the Dodgers? My eyes are not working. There we go. They were right there in the beginning, and I missed them. All right, so, I mean, could you send back one of these young starting pitchers? I don't know. Because I'm thinking here, because I'm thinking when it comes to money, with the Dodgers. I know the Mets would most likely pay down a lot of the contract, but do the Dodgers want to be taking on like any significant money right now because they want to go after Ohtani? Does it matter? I don't know. But taking a look, I mean, maybe you could just send back one of these young starting pitchers. You got Emmett Sheehan there. You got Gavin Stone. You got Pepio. Honestly, I think one of those guys would probably just get it done. So, like Sheehan. Sheehan's at 22.4, right? Grove. He's at 22.1. So I'm just going to put all of them there. And let's do... I'm not saying this would be the trade. I'm just looking at the values. There we go. So when you look at Grove, when you look at Sheehan, they're pretty identical. Pepio is a little less. Honestly, I could imagine that you could probably get something done if you send back either Grove or Sheehan. So, I don't know. Maybe that could be something. Also, another thing with Verlander, too. I'll point this out. Hey, it's not just Verlander that could be up for grabs. You got Kana there, right? So Kana's at a negative 0.8, right? You got Pham, who's at a 1. So, I mean, you could maybe package these guys, right? Also, I'm seeing you in the chat. Brandon Lux, Pham, and Narvaez for Bobby Miller. I don't know about that. Oh, man. Ugh. Brutal. Yeah, Bobby Miller, that's another. I could see someone maybe pointing out Bobby Miller in this. No, Bobby Miller is way too much. Bobby Miller is over $50 million of value. So, no way. So, honestly, if I'm the Mets, man, I'd say, hey, send us back Sheehan. Send us back Grove. I could definitely see one of those, right? So, hey, let's keep an eye out for the Dodgers as well. So there's definitely some options out there. You got the Astros. You got the Dodgers, right? I'm trying to think, honestly, if I'm really thinking about all the teams, I would think that probably the Dodgers and the Astros. Hey, we got also, why not the Diamondbacks? The Diamondbacks, I think, could use another starter in that rotation. Zach Allen and Justin Verlander as a 1-2. I think that's pretty interesting. Hey, Diamondbacks can get this done. Absolutely. So let's do this one. Cody Fletcher, the Reds. Sure, they could use some starting pitching. Why not? I'll get to the Reds here in a second. Again, everyone, we're covering some Justin Verlander trade ideas. Because if Scherzer is gone, I would imagine Verlander is going to be gone. You don't necessarily have to trade him, but I would think if you're sending away Scherzer, Verlander seems like he would be next. So here we go. Let's do Verlander. Again, we'll do the $30 million of cash. Right. And the Diamondbacks, they got some decent players in that farm. So taking a look here. Where are the Diamondbacks? Also, why are these not in ABC order? I don't know why these are not in ABC order. Baseball America, what are you guys doing? Where are the Diamondbacks? Here we go. So, probably not giving up Jordan Lawler. Probably not giving up Brandon Pfaadt. I don't see that. Definitely not giving up Drew Jones. Man, I feel like Blake Walston has been in this system now for like forever. Is that just me? Am I the only one that feels like I've seen Blake Walston here for like 5 years? When did he get drafted? I feel like he got drafted in like 2017 or like 2018. Yeah, Fangraphs, they don't even have him in their top 10. They got Walston at number 4. They don't even have Walston in the top 10 here. So, I don't know. But, I don't know. Let's say, whatever. Let's say you did maybe Walston. I mean, sure. Maybe you could include him. If we're looking at other ones. I don't know. Maybe a shortstop prospect. You can never have too many shortstop prospects in your system. Maybe you can send back Sims. Maybe a couple of pitching prospects here that can get it done. All right. I think for the Mets, why not try and load up on some starting pitching? All right. So I think the Diamondbacks are a possibility. Let's check out the Reds. Hey, I think I saw a report not too long ago that the Reds could be an interesting option. I don't remember what beat writer said that. Could the Reds do something crazy? I don't know. But if the Mets are paying down money, I don't see why not. I think when you include money, I think anything could be up for grabs. So, I wouldn't count out the Mets completely. So here we go. One more time. Let's do it. Verlander to the Reds. We got $30 million of cash going to the Reds. So, I mean, if you're the Reds, you definitely have built up your farm over the last few years. So, you could maybe send something back. I don't know if they would want, I don't know if the Reds would even want to pay this much money. You know, I mean, so if Verlander is owed, so I'm trying to think, if they pay 30, so then Verlander's owed, right around 60 million left. So would the Reds even want to pay $30 million worth of salary? You know what I mean? I don't know if they would even want to pay that. Is that just me, Reds fans? Do you think ownership would be okay with paying $30 million? I don't know. They just don't come off to me like they really want to spend a whole ton of money. So, taking a look. If you're the Reds, you got some prospects here. So let's take a look. What's going on with my Red Sox? Oh, no! No! Oh, seriously? Oh, my night's ruined. I hate it here. Come on. A walk-off home run for J.D. Davis? Come on. What is going on, Heim? Come on, we got to make some moves, buddy. We got to make some moves. Come on, walk-off loss. We gotta get over that, man. Come on, go make us a move. Get the momentum back. Oh, brutal. Man, the Yankees last night, and now my Red Sox tonight. Dang it. So, all right. Who could you send back if you're the Reds for Verlander? I mean, if I'm looking, what do we got? So probably Arroyo, probably not. Collier, no. Petty, no. You got Phillips here, who is your number 4. So you got Phillips at 4. I don't know. I don't think you send back a CES. Christian Encarnacion Strand. I don't think CES is going anywhere. I don't know. I mean, honestly, could you send back Arroyo? Remember he was the throw-in last year with that trade? Maybe the Mets are like, all right, let's add Acuna. Let's add Arroyo. We got some decent shortstop prospects in our system. I don't know. Maybe you could just do Phillips and Petty. I mean, something along those lines. Listen, if you're the Mets, I know you got Acuna in the Scherzer deal, but man, if you're gonna trade, Verlander too, try and get some pitching. Seriously. I mean, God, if you're gonna be giving up a pitcher that you just signed, at least go get some young pitching. I think that would be really good. All righty, everyone. So, in conclusion, when it comes to all of this, I'll recap kind of what I was talking about here tonight. I think for the Rangers, I think it's a good move. I think it's a wait and see for me. It could be a really good move. It could also just be a bad move in the end. I don't know. I like Acuna. I know he probably not going to be Ronald Acuna Jr., but there's still a lot of talent with him. Essentially, he could be pretty blocked too, so I guess you could think of it that way because you got Seager and Semien for the next however many years. So Acuna probably doesn't even come up, right? Because he's limited. He doesn't have a great arm, so he's pretty limited at second base. I don't know. I just always like it when you got a bat like that who, man, that guy can hit a ball a mile. And he just has to really work on the approach at the plate. So I think for the Rangers, I think it's fine giving him up. It's just like kind of like a, I know a lot of Rangers fans liked him. So, and to me, I like the numbers that he was putting up this year. Acuna was putting up some really good numbers in the minor leagues. So, but for the Rangers, again, it's a wait and see. It could end up being a really good move for you. Who knows? We don't know what Scherzer is going to be in the playoffs. We simply just don't know. He could end up being really good. Or he could end up having a dead arm again. I don't know. So, but with Scherzer gone, you have to think Verlander is next. If the Mets don't trade Verlander, I would think that's really weird. But I could also see why they would hang on to him, because at least you would have him for next year. Honestly, I don't think... The thing is the Mets right now, I don't think it really hurts you all that much trading away Scherzer. Because the guy was really inconsistent for you. I really don't think this Mets team is going to be all that much worse without Scherzer. Even if they don't end up getting better, I still think they're going to be right around the same. Scherzer was pretty up and down for you this year. When you look at the Fangraph WAR, he was at a 0.9. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think this is really going to make much of a difference for this Mets team. All right. So let's see what they end up doing. I don't know. But I would think Verlander would be next, but I could also see them hanging on to him. You don't necessarily have to trade him. At least you know you have him for next year. Right? Because to me, at least Verlander is having the good year compared to Scherzer. So you can lean on that. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening here. In other news, I mean, there's not really a whole bunch of other news out there right now. We did just get Nolan Arenado. It's being reported now from Derek Gould of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that Arenado is not being traded from Mozeliak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm botching it. I don't know. Is it Mozeliak? Mozeliak? One of those is right. But he's saying Arenado is not going anywhere. So for Cardinals fans, I wouldn't be surprised about that. To me, it's like the Cardinals are looking at every single way possible to make moves. So I'm not surprised that they're at least listening to offers, right? But for the Cardinals, Alec Burleson is drawing some trade interest. So not a surprise. They have a ton of outfielders there. So I have to wait and see on that. I know we have been seeing some other things. Let me go here back to the top news. So the Marlins, they acquired David Robertson. Eloy Jimenez's name has been floating around out there. So I'm not surprised to see the Marlins trying to acquire some offense. So look out for that. What else we got? The Orioles were showing some... Michael Lorenzen is getting interest like everywhere. The Orioles... I mean, there's definitely a ton of teams. The Rays have been connected with Lorenzen. There's a lot of teams out there that are looking for some starting pitching. So, the Mariners... I mean, we've heard this for a while now. The Mariners are looking to add a bat, and they can deal from their rotation. I'm really curious to see if Brian Wu or Bryce Miller end up going anywhere. I really am. I would love for the Red Sox to go get one of those guys. Man, I would be stoked. If the Red Sox landed Brian Wu, oh, I'd be so happy with that. I don't know what bat, though, that the Mariners would want from the Red Sox that would really make a whole lot of sense. They could use a second baseman, and the Red Sox don't really have like a great option to send back to the Mariners when it comes to second base. I mean, the only bat that I could even think of that is under... They also want a bat that's under control. The only bat that I can think of that's under control is Alex Verdugo. I don't see that really lining up, though. Like, I don't know why. I don't think the Mariners really would need Verdugo, and you'd only have him for next year, too. And as of right now, you just called up... Or you just got Cade Marlowe recently. So I believe Cade Marlowe hasn't been up very long. I think of like 5 games or like 6 games. 6 games. He's hit really well so far through the 6 games. So in AAA, he wasn't putting up like amazing numbers, but I would think with the Mariners, I mean, could Verdugo be an option here instead of a Cade Marlowe? That's the only bat that I could think that the Mariners would want. I don't even know if they would want it. That's the only bat that I could see fitting the criteria of a bat that's actually been pretty good this year and one that's under control. I don't think Verdugo is really the bat they're looking for, though. I think they would like someone like almost like a Nolan Gorman or like a Brendan Donovan. Like, those are the kind of bats that I could see them being interested in. I'm just saying, for the Red Sox, I would absolutely love Brian Wu, Bryce Miller. I mean, oh my God, if they were somehow able to get Logan Gilbert, I would go crazy. So the Mariners, they're going to be active. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. But everyone, I think I'm out of here for tonight. It's kind of weird being here on a Saturday night. It's just, not really here on Saturday nights usually. But tomorrow we'll be back here. Power rankings, but it's going to be a special power rankings. It's going to be the trade deadline special. I'm excited for it. I'm going to go over where my power rankings are at, 30 through number 1. And as I go through each team, I'll be talking about any trade deadline news, any reports, any rumors. So be here tomorrow night. I'm looking for a big trade deadline special for tomorrow night. And Monday, we will be live. On, wait, no. Is it Monday or Tuesday? Wait, no. Monday night, we definitely will be live. So that'll be the night before. So the night before the deadline, we will absolutely be live. So be on the lookout for that. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be live Tuesday. We're going to be waiting to see if any big deals drop. So make sure you look out for me on Tuesday. I will be live all day. So make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you got all the alerts turned on. Subscribe if you are new in this chat. That way and then hit the bell. That way you just know I go live. Everyone, if you can, share the stream. Share any of the content. Like the stream on the way out if you can. And everyone, I'm out of here. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired today. I don't know what's going on. My brain is not fully firing tonight. I'm sleepy, man. I'm sleepy. But, hey, well, all of you go out there and have a fun Saturday night. I'm probably going to go to bed unless something happens. You know what's going to happen? Something is going to happen. I'm going to be cuddling my pillow in my bed. Something's going to break. And then I'm going to have to hop out of bed and then come on the stream. Watch, it's going to happen. I guarantee it. Anyway, be on the lookout tomorrow night, everyone. Power rankings. Monday night, we will be live as well. And then Tuesday during the day, we will be here just hanging out, just waiting for all the news and whatever trades end up dropping. We got a busy few days, everyone, so get excited. And everyone, go have yourself a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you next time.